Hi! Today we're going to learn about the fundamental theorem of calculus part 2. Let's say we have to compute g prime of x if g of x is equal to the integral from 3 to x of negative sine of x. So let's just write this down. We know that g of x is equal to the integral from 3, we're just rewriting this, but we know that g of x is equal to the integral from 3 to x of negative sine of x. So wouldn't that just mean that g prime of x is equal to negative sine of x? Well, in this case, it's not what that means. What you see is that we have g of x here, but the upper limit of integration is x squared. So that means that you can't use the fundamental theorem of calculus part 2 to say that g prime of x is equal to negative sine of x, because your upper limit of integration is x squared. So what do? Well, we set g of x equal to some random function a of x squared. So we set g of x equal to some random function a of x squared. So let's just look at an example of how this could be. Let's say we had the function g of x is equal to x squared, and let's say we wanted to write this as a of x squared. So this would be equal to a of x squared is equal to x squared, or is equal to just x. Because when we plug both of these in, we're going to get the same value. So, which would be x squared. So we know that that can work. We know that we can set g of x to some different function a of x squared, which would be equal to what g of x is equal to, which is the integral from 3, so the integral from 3 to x squared of negative sine of x. Well, now, if we want to compute g prime of x, we can compute the derivatives of all of these. So g prime of x would be, so now we have to compute the derivative of a of x squared. The derivative of that would be using the chain rule, so we would have to use a chain rule and say this would be equal to the derivative of the outside function, a prime of x squared, times the derivative of the inside function, which is 2x. So this would be equal to, so we have 2x times a prime of x squared. Now because these x squareds are the same, so because we have x squared here, and the upper limit of integration is x squared, we know that a prime of x squared will be negative sine of x. Negative sine of x. So that means that the answer to this problem is negative 2x sine of x. Today we learned about the fundamental theorem of calculus part 2. Thank you for watching this video.